Memories of Abhishek Bachchan dancing on Dhadak Dhadak in the opening sequence of Bunty Aur Babli is still very clear in my memory. The Desi Bonnie and Clyde that had aspirations to become a popular businessman and a Miss India made for a hilarious ride that everyone connected with and celebrated. When it was announced that a sequel of the early 2000s film was being made, everyone expected the duo of Bachchan and Rani to reunite, but presumably the role was rejected by Bachchan. Saif Ali Khan came into the picture to play the role of Rakesh opposite Vimmi. We are introduced to a world where both of them have left their scamming ways behind in a humble town in Uttar Pradesh. Out of nowhere, they are being interrogated by the police as cases are emerging that Bunty Aur Babli's scamming ways have made a comeback. The original duo feel terribly offended that their iconic and deceptive ways are being utilized by complete strangers. Fearful of swaying away from their now humble life, they agree to aid the police, who hires the original duo to catch hold of the new Bunty Aur Babli in town, played by Siddhant Chaturvedi and Sharvari respectively. Does the film still reflect the quirkiness and genuine fun energy that the first film had? Is it a dated concept that would have worked in the 2000s rather than after 15 years from the first film? Getting right into it, here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Bunty Aur Babli 2 in theaters or not. The good. Earnest effort by the main cast. I can't really fault the actors for the performances in this film as its screenplay and writing are the main issue. It actually makes me wonder whether Abhishek Bachchan said no to the film due to the lackluster script, or was it just because of the creative differences with the production house. The absence of Saif Ali Khan during the promotions of the film also raised red flags for me. Irrespective as Saif is introduced to the world, we are to assume he is Rakesh from the previous film, much like how the bahus of Indian soaps are replaced, and we just have to live with it. I still kept on getting flashbacks of the infectious chemistry shared between Abhishek and Rani in the original film, as Saif in the opening credits literally recreated every scene of the first film. There are some sweet moments shared between Saif and Rani as they interact with one another in their humble abode, but both of them can only do so much to elevate the rather average material handed to them. I have to say that while Saif has always struggled to bust a move on the dance floor, Rani Mukerji has still got it. A lot of people don't appreciate her skills as a dancer enough. She slays it effortlessly. The hamminess or the pitch of their performances is the byproduct of how the film is presented, but it never becomes jarring. Siddhant Chaturvedi and Sharvari as the new conmen in town really do their bit to bring the much needed exuberant energy to the franchise, but are let down by writing that does not even give us a slight peek of who they are. These performances by the new cast will definitely not be remembered as game-changing in any way in their careers. Siddhant is especially very comfortable in front of camera. You can clearly see that the man has a point to prove. While you might simp over Sharvari in the film on how she looks, the character does not really demand much from a performance standpoint, other than her act as the PMO representative for the leaves of the Ganga river. She only kills it in that. Fleeting moments. Pankaj Tripathi as the investigating officer of the case just does Pankaj Tripathi things. He makes you chuckle momentarily, vanishes through most of the film and then transitions to come back to make us smile again. The character choice from a writing standpoint of making him a careless and eccentric cop was interesting but didn't really make the stakes high for the film. Quite contrary to how assertive and alert Amitabh Bachchan's character Dashrath Singh was in the first film. That very creative tool made the thrill of catching the duo even more exciting. The most enjoyable performance in the film according to me was of the kid who played Rani and Saif's son. I don't know how they got the casting of this kid, but my god, the confidence and comic timing of this boy was off the charts. Him extorting his own mother and landing a deal with Jatayu Singh played by Tripathi were some of the gold moments from the film. The underwhelming aspects. The music. The music of this film absolutely pales in comparison to the first film. While the creators have retained the trio of Shankar Ehsaan Loy, I have to say that the songs are really underwhelming. The only standout being Love Ju probably, and that is also reaching and only stands out because of a brilliant salsa performance by Siddhant and Sharvari. The less I say about the lyrics, the better. All the other songs that include the title track, Tattoo Walia and Dik Chick will be forgotten immediately. I mean, the music in the first film was so iconic and such an important part of the film's narrative that it is still remembered and played today. From Dhadak Dhadak, Kajrare, Chup Chup Ke, these songs represented the theme and brought vibrancy and life to the story of Bunty Aur Babli. I'll never forget the song Nach Baliye also, choreographed by Shamak Davar and making even Abhishek Bachchan dance brilliantly. Rani Mukerji in that song is someone to marvel at, and it's safe to say that from a music standpoint, there is nothing really to look forward to in the sequel with respect to the theatre experience. Who are they? One of the biggest problems that I feel in this film is the lack of empathy or connection that you will feel, especially for the new Bunty Aur Babli in town. One of the main reasons why you felt a sense of connection with Rakesh and Vimy in the first film was because you were provided insight into their lives, motivations, and how they stumbled upon the life that they are leading. Other than an emotional monologue on the current state of unemployment in the country and needing venture capitalist funding for an app, we are provided no glimpse of who these people are. How did their relationship blossom? Why are their personalities the way they are? This lack of information or even absence of insight into their likes or dislikes makes them assume the role of strangers, and that completely disconnects a viewer of why we should even care if these characters are caught. The performances are not at fault, but the writing is that barely wants to explore the new characters introduced into the franchise. Writing and comedic touch. The main focus of the film are the heists that are committed, and this is something that I believe is the biggest downfall of the sequel. The magic of the first film and why it worked was that it introduced us to the characters and showcased their transition from being hopeful of the world and then taking matters into their own hands, considered to be morally corrupt by many. Rakesh and Vimy were characters whom we joined on this journey, and the oscillating moments in several of their acts is something that we deeply connected with because we knew them. In this case, the heists are committed, the police and other officials are easily conned, and we move on to the next heist. As the second half progressed and a big heist has been committed, I just wondered why I haven't laughed for so long. The first one made me fall in love with their love story and made me hysterically laugh as well. Be it Sanjay Mishra being conned for a few thousand rupees or Abhishek Bachchan's hilarious act to sell the Taj Mahal. All of these qualities just seem to be missing in the sequel. It does not generate many laughs, and that is a sad sight to witness for a film that was celebrated and enjoyed so much. Siddhant Chaturvedi's Abu Dhabi act just seems like a refined version of Aakhri Pasta, and only Rani Mukerji telling a dog to shut up mid-conversation and Saif calling font had the theatre laughing. Earthiness and original magic. What was also missing in this film is that it wasn't really representative of the heartland of India. The sequel has this glossy and surface level visual treatment that doesn't really transport you or make you understand that this is essentially an Indian story. The film resorts to the most scenic locations for its settings, from Goa to Abu Dhabi, and it actually takes away from the beautiful visuals of India in the first film that all originated from Fursatganj. What's also bewildering about the sequel is that it doesn't even invest you emotionally for Rakesh and Vimy, something that was clearly the core of the first film. I'll conclude by saying that if you have only the intention of going for a villa film with no expectations, then this is probably it. But our bar of what a commercial comedy should be, especially of a franchise that was so enjoyable, should not be that low. Bunty Aur Babli 2 is strictly a below average affair that undoubtedly, in every shape and form, lacks the magic, music, and storytelling of the first film. 15 years too late? I think so. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead.